Imagine a single, tiny patrol boat staring down an entire fleet of destroyers, a battle that on paper is utterly unwinnable. But what if I told you that one small vessel didn't just survive, it sank every single one of them? How could such an impossible feat ever happen? Get ready to uncover the unbelievable truth. Naval history is filled with epic battles, Midway, Jutland, Leyte Gulf, but none are quite as mind-bending as this. A lone patrol boat made of wood and audacity, defying all odds to utterly annihilate an entire destroyer fleet. Forget everything you thought you knew about naval warfare. This isn't just a story of bravery. It's a masterclass in tactical brilliance and audacious risk-taking that literally sank a fleet. This is the story of how the smallest player on the board checkmated the kings of the sea. Picture the vast open ocean, silent but for the hum of engines, as an immense fleet of destroyers closes in on a single insignificant patrol boat. The radar screens on the destroyers show a clear path. To them, the ocean is empty. They are the hunters, but inside that tiny cabin, the air is thick with a different kind of energy. The odds are beyond astronomical. The outcome seems predetermined. Any sane commander would turn and flee. But this captain, he's waiting for the giants to get closer. He's waiting for the moment the unbeatable fleet becomes its own worst enemy. To truly understand the insanity of this moment, we have to look at the math of naval combat. A standard destroyer is essentially a floating fortress. We're talking about thousands of tons of steel, bristling with 5-inch guns, rapid-fire anti-aircraft batteries, and depth charges. These ships are designed to hunt submarines and trade blows with cruisers. They are the tin cans of the Navy, built for speed and devastating punch. Then there's the patrol boat. In many historical cases, these were little more than wooden hulls, motor torpedo boats or PT boats. They were fragile. A single well-placed shot from a destroyer's secondary battery wouldn't just damage a patrol boat, it would vaporize it. The patrol boat has 2, maybe 4 torpedoes. The destroyer fleet has hundreds of guns and thousands of eyes. In a daylight engagement, the battle would be over in 90 seconds. But the captain of our lone vessel knew something the fleet commanders didn't. Numbers only matter if you can see what you're hitting. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the advantage shifted. This is where the shadow strategy comes into play. In the early days of radar, technology had a glaring weakness: clutter. If a small boat stayed close enough to a rocky coastline, or better yet, moved within the radar shadow of a larger vessel, it effectively became invisible. Our lone captain didn't stay at a distance. He did the most counterintuitive thing possible. He charged directly into the heart of the enemy formation. By hugging the wake of the lead destroyer, he stayed in a literal blind spot. The massive guns of the destroyers have a minimum depression limit. They can hit targets miles away, but they can't point their barrels low enough to hit something bobbing right against their own hull. He was the mosquito in the room that you can hear but can't quite swat. He wasn't just hiding, he was stalking. He waited until the destroyers were in a tight, disciplined formation, the kind of formation that is perfect for defense against other large ships, but a death trap when there's a ghost in the machine. The first torpedo strike was a surgical masterpiece. It didn't hit the lead ship, it hit the second ship in the line, right in the fuel bunker. The resulting explosion was so violent it illuminated the entire fleet, but it did something even more important. It created chaos. When a fleet is under attack by an invisible foe, discipline evaporates. The commanders assumed they were being hit by a massive submarine wolf pack or a shore battery they had missed. They began to maneuver wildly to avoid further torpedoes. In the dark, with smoke pouring from a burning sister ship, the destroyers began to lose track of one another. This is the moment our patrol boat captain transitioned from stealth to psychological warfare. He began weaving between the giants, firing his machine guns and throwing up smoke screens. The destroyers reacted instinctively. They opened fire, but they weren't firing at the patrol boat. They were firing at the shadows. In their panic, they began to hit each other. The massive 5-inch shells missiles meant for the Ghost were instead slamming into the hulls of their own fleet members. The patrol boat didn't need to sink every ship with its own weapons. It just needed to start the fire and let the giants tear each other apart. Psychology is the most underrated weapon in naval history. The terror of the unknown is what truly sank this fleet. Every time a destroyer turned its searchlights onto the water, they saw nothing but the wreckage of their own ships. The lone captain kept his engine at a specific RPM to mimic the sound of the ocean or the larger ships, further confusing the sonar operators. He was playing a deadly game of hide and seek where the seekers were armed with sledgehammers and he was a needle. As the night wore on, the fleet's internal communications broke down. Rumors spread through the radio waves of a secret weapon or a phantom fleet. By the time the third destroyer was crippled by friendly fire, the fleet's cohesion was gone. They were no longer an organized military unit. They were a group of panicked survivors in a graveyard of their own making. Our captain, having used his last torpedo to blow the rudder off the final functional destroyer, didn't stick around to gloat. He slipped away into the morning mist, leaving behind a sea filled with burning steel and the stunned silence of an unbeatable force that had been defeated by a single man with a plan. When the reports reached the Admiralty, they were dismissed as impossible. How could one boat do this? But the wreckage didn't lie. This battle became a mandatory case study in naval academies from Annapolis to Sandhurst. It teaches us that overwhelming force is a liability if it lacks clarity. It proves that a smaller, more agile opponent can use the very size of their enemy against them. The David and Goliath story isn't just a myth. It is a tactical reality that has been repeated throughout history whenever someone is brave enough to look at a giant and see a target instead of a threat. The lone captain's greatest achievement wasn't the sinking of the ships. It was the mastery of his own fear. He understood that in the vastness of the ocean, the most powerful thing you can be is invisible. So what is the unbelievable truth of this battle? It's that victory isn't about having the biggest guns or the thickest armor. It's about who controls the narrative of the fight. The next time you find yourself facing odds that seem astronomical, remember the lone patrol boat. Remember that the giant fleet in front of you is only as strong as its ability to stay calm. Stay low, move fast, and never let them see you coming. But now I want to hear from you. History is full of these impossible moments. Which one should we cover next? Is there a battle where a single soldier, a lone tank, or a hidden battery changed the course of a war? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one, and your suggestions drive this channel. If this story of tactical brilliance gave you a new perspective on naval warfare, do us a huge favor. Hit that like button. It tells the algorithm that stories of audacity still matter. And if you haven't already, join our community by subscribing and hitting the bell icon. We dive deep into the world's most incredible military upsets every single week, and you don't want to miss what we have lined up next. For those who want to support the channel even further and get early access to our research notes and behind-the-scenes content, check out the link in the description. Your support allows us to keep digging into the archives to bring these forgotten legends back to life. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the story of the unsinkable David. I'm your host, and I'll see you in the next one.